Hey, what's going on? All right, so this video is just going to be a little bit more of an educational one. Going to talk about the planets in astrology, do a little breakdown of that. So, in astrology, you have the planets and then you have the houses, and the planets they reside in the house. So the house would be the area of life, and the planet is the energy that you're bringing to this area of life, the vibration. This is the energy vibration. This is the state of being that you're bringing to this area of life. Like, this is the vibration, the state of being. That's what it's bringing to this area in its life. All right. So you got, to understand this stuff, we look at it as, spirits in the the astral realm, or the esoteric realm. So like we all have, our own individual space, in this infinite universe. So we all have our own specific space, and like this space is like where you derive from. Like, you own this. This is what you resonated with to bring you to have your own solo spirit. Like, that's where the word soul comes from. It's really your spirit. It's just the non-flammable. It's an odorless gas. It's just not. It's not a thing. It's not nothing, but it's no actual thing. So in the realm, the way the spirit moves, it's kind of like the external realm, the physical, is comes from the astral realm. So you have, if the spirit moving up, up, it's like optimistic. It's like up. The direction up would be, the feeling of optimistic. Like, we feel optimistic. That's like how your spirit's moving up. If it's moving down, that's like down, weighing, it's weight, it's burden, responsibility, it's depression, like going down. That's where your spirit will be traveling if you're in those vibrations. So and then you have right is righteous, right brain, righteous, common sense. Left, you have left field, logic, law. That you're moving left, you're coming from left field. That's where these terms essentially come from. It derives in this astral space first, and that shape and form is what it's able to manifest physically into this realm, like this world that we're living in. This is just kind of going. This is like kind of occult. This is kind of like occult, metaphysical stuff. It's like everything that's going on behind the scenes before you see it, like in physicality. Like we're not just the flesh. Like, we're a spirit in the flesh. Like, we're experiencing the life through this vessel, right? It's a vehicle. It's not you. It's not, you're not this. Like, this is just a vehicle you're taking in this lifetime. If you understand where I'm coming from, this is just one vehicle. We've been through many of them. So then, you're going forward. Forward is like you're excelling. You're going forward. I'm moving forward in life. I'm moving on. You have direction. Then back is like guilt. You're moving back. Oh, like resentment. And then this is not really like good or bad things. This is just like different areas. Like, this is different areas, spaces that your spirit can move in. And the planet energy is kind of a representation of how your spirit's going to be moving. Like, this is the stuff that you're going to resonate with. That's how you come into life. Like, what your spirit resonates with, that's how you have likes and dislikes before you even came here. Like you came here, and then you get into something, and that's how, and by instinct that this is something you resonate with or not. It's something you've carried from previous lifetimes. That's how you like understand the concept of this, that it was previous lifetimes. You're carrying this what you resonate with. That's how you know in this lifetime, oh, this is something I'm into or not. So yeah, we're just gonna start with the 7 planets. You have the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and what am I missing? Did I say the moon? I didn't say the moon. All right, so yeah, you got the moon. I'm gonna start with the sun, just because like the sun, everybody, when they refer to astrology and they refer to the zodiac, that's what the sun sign is. It's like all, the common phrases you hear from astrology. It's just from the sun side. It's not, doesn't make up everything. It's just your sun. It's what's seen. That's why it's like the one that everyone's talking about, because that you're always in the vibration of where your sun's at, right? And all the other planets, you kind of have to tap into the energy, because the sun, you're always doing something. So like your sun is always seen, no matter what you're doing. Like you don't have to be aware of it. You're just always enacting out in the vibration of what your sun is and what house that's in. Which I'm not going to break down where the houses, what about the houses. I'm just going to say, wherever, in your house, this is how this planet is going to act. If you're looking at astrology in the chart. Let me get a breather real quick. So the sun is, it's how you see life. It's how you're seen. It's your actions. It's what you put out physically, and it's the area that, is of your life that's shine light upon. It's the spotlight. It's that charge. It's the sun. The sun brings light to the earth. It's bringing light to the world. It's what we can see. Anything up under the sun. This is whatever house it's in, this is what you are here to see and what you're here to do. For example, sun in 9th house. I have an Aries sun, 9th house. So the 9th house, we'll get into this, but the 9th house is dealing with, any type of broad philosophical views of the world, any experiences like long distance traveling. And long distance traveling, that could mean in the mind. Like you could travel, you can go places in the mind. So that's kind of how you come up with the characteristics of broad philosophical views. Your mind has to travel far to come up with this stuff, right? My mind is out there. Like, this is probably, how you come to this information. You have to, through experiencing certain knowledge, and building upon that, you're able to experience a large realm, and then you come to the conclusions that you come to, and that's how that's philosophy. And it's also, the 9th house is dealing with wisdom and religion. Jupiter is religious, but yeah, that's just an example. So for me, 9, it's in the sun is in the 9th house. So like, this is what I deal with. Like, a lot of experiences in my life. Like, been through a lot of experienced a lot. I've been through a lot of great experiences, like ups, downs, whatever. But just experienced a lot. I've been through a lot of experiences from as a kid to now. I just experienced a lot. And then also the sun. I'm focused on knowledge. I'm just here to receive knowledge, to give knowledge. It's about knowing, and I'm always looking for just always interested in philosophy and broad views on how to look at the world. So that's just an example from me. And then if you look at it in your own way, like You would just have to know what the house is, and then your sun is the spotlight of that house, of that area of life. The house is just the area of life. So the sun, it's what you're paying attention to, and that's what I pay attention to. The ninth house matters, and then it lights up that area of life. So this is what you're here to do, right? The sun is what you're here to do. The moon, right? The next one this is where you came from, right? The sun, your actions, this is what you're here to do. It's more physical. The moon is more non-physical. It's more emotional. It's more feminine. Masculine is more physical, flesh. Feminine is more like inner and stuff like that. So the moon, the moon, this is where you come from. This is like essentially like your spirit. Whatever your moon is, that's like who you really are. It's where you really come from. So it's what makes you comfortable. It's how you react and respond to things. Like everybody has a different moon. Everybody reacts and responds and has different things that make them feel secure and safe. So that's kind of what your moon is. Like these are the things, whatever zodiac your moon is. This is like how you could tell how you react to things, or like what you're deeply invested in emotionally. You're acting out your sun in a moon-like way, right? So your moon is like deeply who you are, but your actions would be the sun. So like I'm a Cancer moon and Aries sun. So I'm acting out the Cancer, like I am truly a Cancer moon. I'm acting that out in an Aries-like way, right? I'm just acting it out in this energetic way, but it really is the energy where it came from, like how I felt about it is where the moon is, what the moon is. It's what you're familiar with, what you're comfortable with. It's your ability to gain stability and to be safe. That's what the moon is. This is like past lives. This is really truly like your spirit. This is like your space. This is your moon, whatever degree that is. That's like your space in the in the astral realm, in the universe. And then let's talk about so the sun and the moon, and then so you want to look at where you have the planet at, right? What house it's in, what the sign is, what sign it's in, like that's what sun is, right? Moon is important too, right? Because the moon is really who you are. The sun is just what you're seeing from someone. So you can't really tell everything just by someone's sun sign. You got to look at the whole chart. And then when you look at the moon and the sun alignment, you have different aspects between the two, which some make it more harmonious and some make it more harmful. But we'll get to aspects and stuff too. And then we'll get to, what are we on? Mercury. Mercury is just what you're thinking about. Your speech too. It's kind of like what you want to talk about. It's what you think about, how you analyze things. I have Mercury in the ninth house, also in Aries. I have a stellium, but I'm always thinking about knowledge and philosophy and broad views of the world. I'm always talking about it. I'm always it's what you're analyzing. It's what you're mentally into, and Mercury. It's an air planet. Mercury. It's the ruler of Virgo, Gemini. So that's where you get the influence from. And then all right, the next one we'll do Venus. This is what this area of life is what you're here to appreciate and value and love and support. This is what you love and appreciate. Also, this is relationships too. Like this is your relationships in whatever Venus house is in. This is where you might find a relationship in, or you have relationships in. And then this is so you can learn what you did in the past life is what you love. It's what you support, love, appreciation, and that's all in the Venus energy, right? So wherever you have Venus at, like that's stuff that you love, right? I have Venus in the seventh house, so like what the Venus seventh house is ruled by Venus, so the Venus the planet sits at home here, right? When it's at home, which I'll break down. When it's at home, it's kind of comfortable, so like seventh house Venus makes it easier with relationships and relating. And then it would be my Venus is in Aquarius, right? So, I love, weird individual, Aquarius is like individualistic, rebellious. I love that type of energy. Like Aquarius is also kind of dealing with astrology and occult, like things that is very far out. So I have an appreciation for those kind of things, which is kind of like weird. Aquarius is like a weird alien outer shit. So it's an air sign, so like it still does pretty good there, but that's just based on my chart. But you could figure it out for yourself, and based on how I'm explaining it, you can look at it and it's like, all right, this is the house it's in, Venus. All right, this is love, and then you can just break it down like that and understand your life a lot better. And then we'll get to Mars. So Mars is like, this is like what you're passionate about. Mars is like the fighter. It's like what you're passionately involved in. It's, what you're here to learn. Your anger, your aggression, intent, willpower, passion, desires, all that stuff falls under Mars. You got a lot of fight. It's blood, sweat, and tears. That's like, blood, sweat, tears. Like future blood, sweat, tears. He's a Scorpio, and Scorpio is ruled by Mars. So like that's kind of just right there, like you get that. But Scorpio is like Scorpio and Aries both ruled by Mars. It's just the night and the day, or the dark and the light, whatever you want to call it. It's just that they both are ruled by this planet, and Mars is very intense. That's why, being an Aries, but, I'm backed up by Cancer, but a lot of Aries, like, they can, freak out and flip this switch like that just because of the Mars, they'll fight like that, but, it's a quick passion, like it's a quick and aggression, which will calm down, but also, your desires and like sex and those kind of desires that comes from Mars too. So like whatever house you have Mars in is kind of like how we'll tell about like you a little bit sexually too, because how you approach sex. But that's if you really get into the shit. But it's also like what you're really passionate about. And I also have Mars in the ninth house, so I'm also passionate about like knowledge and religion and broad philosophical views of the world too. So, that's, I'm very passionate about that, and aggressive, and, even fighting, words of fighting, debating and stuff falls into that shit, into that category and stuff. All right. Sit back and let's see if anything I missed, I'll include. Yeah, I wrote ninth house, passionately involved in wisdom, knowledge, and education. And then I'll just talk, stellium is like when you have multiple planets in one house. It's kind of like a burden too, like stellium tells about like a lot of past life shit too. It's either in a past life you were too overboard in that, or you were like completely ignorant to it. So, that from me knowing I have a ninth house stellium, it's either I was either some in a high status of preaching or something like that, or I just didn't know anything. I didn't have any knowledge. I was lost, and that's why me coming here with a ninth house stellium and all the knowledge I bring. That's why I think it's kind of important in my life, especially in the times we're growing in now. I have a lot of energy in this area, and I don't really mess around, and this is like what I do. This is kind of what I've been into for forever, and I'm always looking for knowledge. That's just always all on my mind, what I'm doing, what I'm passionate about, all that, all those areas of life. That's all that energy is going towards this. So, in the times that we're in now, I think it's just, you know, I think what I say, it holds a lot of value and meaning. And, obviously a lot of people don't want to take the advice or, how I look at things. But, just knowing that, if you look at astrology of it, like this is, you know, this is something I'm here to like teach and to have not people be led astray. But it's you can only do things in such a way not to be demonic. And yeah, I'll go through that too. Like terms like angelic and demonic is not really like biblical, and like Jesus Christ it out. Like don't get too religious thinking about that stuff, because demonic and angelic is just two sorts of energies you're always in. Like you're always being either demonic or angelic, and it's not bad one way or the other. It's just an angel is somebody that's going to tell you to separate, right? Archangel is archangel. They have a high arch, right? They have a high perspective, a high angle, right? A higher way of looking at something. That's why the angel, right? An angel will tell you to separate from something because it's looking at it from a higher angle. It's more in the detaching energy. That's kind of more angelic, right? Demonic is like somebody that tells you to attach to someone, to something, or whatever. It's like a force. It's like forcing you to, to attach to something. It's like forcing somebody, like, oh yeah, like do this. They're being demonic. Like, demon would be, someone to tell you have to do this. You have to do something, right? There's something that a lot of people have been telling people now. Oh, you have to do this, or you should do this. That's demonic, right? Angelic is somebody telling you, separate, or, don't do that, So just think about it like that. It's not like going to hell or anything. We're always, but you can use both of them, and it's not always negative. If you're demonic, it's not always positive to be angelic. That's all I'm saying. You need to use both of these energies. You need to vibrate high and low, right? That was just a quick intermission right there. I think but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Try to not be demonic in the stuff that I'm bringing, but I think it has a lot of meaning, and I don't want people to be led astray. But it's too hard to, get somebody to see from your point of view after. It's like you have to give them your own mind and shit that you've already traveled to in your mind to realize certain spaces, right? And I've been to a lot of those spaces in my mind, right? I have a lot of energy in this field, so that's why I'm confident, in the stuff that I've found out, right? You can there's the art of deduction. There's nothing we don't know, right? We know everything. You can deduce things down to like the root of things, right? And then there's no confusion. Like we shouldn't have any confusion on anything. It's just the way that we have this world, this government system. It's hard because they lead everyone astray. They don't want people to know the real science and the real religion of, this shit, this astrology shit. But yeah, it goes deep. That's why it's just like for everyone. This is like something for everyone, even if you're not into it. You should just look at your shit and then understand a tiny bit of shit, a tiny bit of knowledge, as much effort you put into school and all, this might save you time from effort, from doing certain things that you spend a lot of time in. If you look at astrology and look at your chart, you don't need to spend that much time in this area of life, or you need to do it a certain way. That's all we're looking at here. It's not anything like, oh, on this day we're gonna fucking go to the moon, because no, it's like it's not like that. It's just knowing. It's just knowledge. This is just knowing more about the world, and the more you know, like it's easier to just go through life. That's all it is. All right. After that rant, so we got, all right, the next one is Jupiter, right? I talked a little bit about it. Jupiter, this is the ruler of the 9th house. I'll go through the houses and the rulers, but I don't want to make this too long. Jupiter, it's whatever house you have this in, this is what you're here to learn, gain meaning and reasoning to, and expand, right? So meaning and reason, you're gaining meaning and reasoning to, and then expand on that energy, right? If I have some knowledge and then I want to expand on that. That's Jupiter. This is Jupiter stuff I'm doing right now. This is teaching, even learning, sitting in the classroom. That's no matter what it is, it's still in this energy of Jupiter. That's what Jupiter is. Sagittarius, right? If you're Sagittarius, you're backed up by a lot of Jupiter energy, so a lot of experiences. And then this planet is always beneficial because like it'll help you learn things, right? Even if you're going through something really bad, you're still gonna get some knowledge out of it, right? All experiences are good because essentially like that's how you come to be of knowledge. You experience, right? The more things you go through, right? You've already been through that situation, even in the mind, right? You've traveled there, right? You already been through that knowledge, right? That space, that's an experience, right? That you've already went through. That's how you, and then you expand on that. That's how you be wise. That's really what all this is. I'm just trying to break it down so that people can understand it on a simpler level, right? It's not that complicated. So yeah, it's always beneficiary because wherever you have Jupiter, you might fall, but like it's going to help you learn something. It's always better to learn something, and because learning, that's how you get anywhere. That's how you do anything. Like you can't just climb to the top without learning, right? You got to experience that, and then use that experience to your benefit. What else about Jupiter? Yeah. Wherever it's at is where you're going to be educated in, or you're going to be wise in that area on other people's actions. Yeah. Saturn. This is the last one. We'll talk about the other ones. Saturn is this is Saturn. This is like rules time, right? So this is like what a lot of our energies on Earth is catered towards. Like it's what it's like what the government is like focused on. Taking all of your time, right? This is the house that you need to take responsibility for. You may experience a lot of boundaries, restrictions, limits that. But they're here to teach you how to actually gain structure in your life, right? Saturn is like how you build your routine, right? Saturn planets is Aquarius and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn's like a lot of structure and like routine. Saturn is like school. You need like Saturn. You got to go there every day. You got to wake up and Saturn, it's like time. It takes time. Like Saturn's the one like it's like say you're like a lifter, right? It takes time to build the muscle, but like that's what Saturn energy is. It's like going back and like you put in the work and the time, and eventually it'll pay off. Eventually you get the muscles, right? That's what Saturn is. It's like having that. It's like putting time into something, and then that effort paying off. But like it's also like a lot of structure too. It's like putting time into things, but also being stable. It's like it's teaching you stability, right? Someone with like Saturn, for example, like somebody. It's like it's just on routine. Like somebody who's good at routine, has good Saturn, has a lot of Saturn energy, or has Saturn in a good house. Like somebody who has good routine, structure, like their life is structured out pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, it's like you gotta take responsibility. It's Saturn is going to teach you responsibility. Saturn, another thing about Saturn, whatever house you have this in, they call it the Saturn return after 30 years. Saturn, it takes time. Like I said, after 30 years, Saturn comes back around, right? It was at that angle when you were born, and then in 30 years, it makes a full transit or whatever, and it comes back and. That it plays a big role into your life because it kind of wherever Saturn is, like this is kind of like your career and like where you build stability and where you take charge of your life. So when that Saturn return comes back around, that's like it's when you fully get into like your path and stuff. I can't say I've experienced because I'm not of the age of 30. And then, yeah, the last three, we got the outer planets, right? So Pluto, Jupiter, Neptune. These are important too, but the seven main ones, it's just because they give more influence, energy to us, and the outer ones are not. They can't be rulers of a sign. They could be a co-ruler or be like a beneficiary to that to the planet, just like Aries, right? Or I'm sorry, Scorpio, right? You got ruled by Mars, but also co-ruled by Pluto, right? But so Pluto is going to play a big role in it, but it's not going to be the main effector. It's just going to be helping with Mars. So Neptune is kind of like dreams, like, right? Pisces ruled by Neptune and Jupiter, right? It's going to be dreams, imaginations. This is like faith. This is a lot of faith. This is like not really religious energy, but like faith and belief. What you put your faith into, what you believe into, that comes from Neptune. And like your dreams, like what you dream about, like when you're asleep, or like your dreams of like what you dream of, like what you aspire of. That's kind of dealing with Neptune. And then Uranus, I talked a little. I think I didn't touch on Uranus. Uranus is like that's the ruler of change. It's like great changes and transformations, and then also dealing with freedom and individuality, right? And then and opposing and rebelling, right? To get to freedom, you have to oppose something, right? To rebel, that's all in the same energy, right? To change, to be an individual, you have to change and rebel against something, right? You have to be. That's what makes Uranus unique, because you have to change. You have to change and like rebel against something to be unique, to be individual. That's what Uranus is in. Uranus is in Taurus right now, so I have Uranus in the 10th house, right? That's what I'm trying to be unique with my career, right? I'm trying to be individual in my career. And then you got Pluto. Pluto's bringing great transformation. This is like big transformation, death. What else? This is like occult. Also Aquarius, occult, mysticism. All of these planets are very like mystic, occultic. This is kind of very, because it's so far out there. This mysticism, right? The mysticism, it's brought out from a very far out, realm of reality, and that's like these outer planets give you that influence, because it's not, they're not really real. Like it's not like spirituality and occult, it's not like real stuff. They're not like physical things, right? We just use them for other type of things, right? Like love is a thing, right? We can see like love. Somebody, like you can love someone, you can appreciate them, but like spirituality is just like not. It's like a concept, right? Uranus is kind of like dealing also with like technology and like new discoveries too. And then Pluto, just like death, transformation, sex, all power and control issues. Pluto, wherever Pluto's at, you're gonna have a lot of power control issues in that area. Wherever Uranus is at, you're gonna have a lot of transformation in that area of life, or you're gonna be very unique in that area of life. Neptune, you're gonna have a lot of dreams of like in that area of life. I have Neptune in the 6th house, which is 6th house is like your work. So like it's kind of not a good placement though, because you're dreaming while work, or like dream, you're daydreaming while you're at work. It's not really a good place to have it, but if you have the right dreams, or you connect the house to the planet but in a good way, you can make it work. And then Pluto, you're gonna wherever you have Pluto right now. Pluto's in Capricorn, so it's kind of tough right now. Got Pluto in the 6th house for a while. Went through a lot of change with health, a lot of transformation, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of power and control. And that's just that's how you look at it. Like, you just look, wherever the current planets are, wherever your natal planets are, you could see your own alignments. But I'm gonna put out some more stuff just so people can understand it a little bit better. I'm trying to make it easy. I'm trying to get people into this because I think people are going to be using astrology a lot more in the next few years. So it's good knowledge to have. It's interesting. It could help your life. It could help your friend's life. Whatever you want to use it for. That's all I got. I think I'm gonna cut it, but I'm gonna do the houses and go through that next. Peace.